So 2024 like Toku motto is just let's go back to basic. Hey, I'm enjoying the offering from Rider being a throwback to the second phase of the Heisei era, while Sentai is kind of doing the same thing, but with the weirdism of the Reiwa era. But now we have a new Ultra entering the fray. Ultraman Arc. Let's go! In a town called Hoshimoto City, a giant tower in a mountain named Monohorn. It is actually a kaiju's horn stuck in the ground since an incident 16 years ago. The incident when the kaiju appeared simultaneously around the world later was named K-Day. Since then, the Global Defense Force, GDF, has been dealing with the kaiju with force, while SKIP, Scientific Kaiju Investigation and Profession Center, works closely with the community in scientific investigation and evacuation guidance to prevent occurrences of aggression of aggravation of kaiju disasters. SKIP has been investigating the Monohorn, the horn of the galactic beast Monogalos. Galos?
I'm gonna get it down
No, he did not.
tonight.
Which appeared on K-Day. Yuma, then only 7 years old, was camping with his parents in the mountain when Monogalos attacked, but somehow miraculously survived unhurt. This experience led him to pursue a path of kaiju biology research, and despite his traumatic past, he hasn't lost his imagination to his dream. As a rookie investigator, Yuma joined SKIP and was assigned to the Hoshimoto City not long after a large-scale kaiju disaster occurs. As Yuma sees desperate people in front of him, a strong will springs into his mind. I want to protect them all. At this moment, when Yuma hears a voice of Ryuton, being the light he once saw as a child. You and I are the same. Unleash your imagination. When the mystic light emerges from Yuma's hand, embodies his entire body. His power of imagination gives him the fuel with the light to transform into Ultraman Arc, a giant of light who protects the future, alongside his precious friends. Yuma, as well as Ultraman Arc, gallops towards an everlasting dream. As a main synopsis to a show, it's kind of simple but still is very interesting. It very much beats us over our heads that the main theming of the show is imagination, which I'm fine. I like myself Tokyuger, and it kind of continues the same kind of path that kind of Ultra does weirdly love to do, and that is like put something in the past, make it kind of like the big kind of like nexus point that everything kind of in the show is very much centered upon. If you really think about it, Blazer had V99 like that night in 1999. Decker really had a lot of the beginning of Trigger to really play upon. Also, kind of like a decade later with creating the Neo Frontier, Trigger, like entire, like all dark Trigger kind of creates Kengo. I think his name was Kengo, which also becomes Ultraman Trigger, and Ultraman Trigger banishes the other three dark semi-ultras, one of them being Kamira. Again, I can go on and kind of like put specific points in specific events, but it is kind of interesting that is we have like a kaiju named, like how much Bazanga was named in Ultraman Blazer's kind of first release. This one feels like, oh, this Monogalos is kind of important, and I'm be kind of interested how important he's going to be, because like is he going to be kind of like some of a main villain, or is it just going to be just another monster that's kind of going to be semi-interesting to really think about it. But to our protagonist, Yuma is a rookie investigator that has recently joined Skip, who undergoes scientific investigation in order to take precaution against kaiju disasters. He is loved by the people around him for his caring and straightforward personality. The energetic young man is motivated by his father's words. Time to run, Yuma, to overcome various difficulties. Right now, Yuma is nothing out of the ordinary, really. If you really think about it and you look past that other Ultra, we can kind of say that, oh, he's very similar to Daichi. Not only him having parents and maybe having his parents be kind of important to his story, specifically his backstory, is very much Daichi-esque. Also, him being a scientist does work. I am very interested in him because a thing that I'm going to talk about later, the synopsis for Ultraman arc kind of tells us Yuma was responsible for creating all of like the Ultra devices, even how Ultraman arc looks. Again, very much kind of like the kid from Kirame, like Kirame Red. He's like Kirame King thing. So it's kind of interesting. So maybe he's very much responsible for all of like the upgrade forms and the entire arsenal that arc has. And you know what, that's cool. Like that gives Yuma this kind of way more leeway in upgrades and way more leeway with weapons, because it's like, oh, I created it, then just big energy attack kind of like forms it. I'm fine with it, to be completely honest. And if we already talk about our Ultraman arc is a giant who appears after the protagonist Yuma unleashes his imagination and unite with Rufio, which kind of signifies that Rution dude is just kind of like a ball of light. Maybe it's going to be kind of like Ray Blood, not like Ray Blood, like the guy that was connected to Ray Blood, which in the end kind of made Ultraman Belial. So it is going to be kind of interesting because it very much feels like, okay, like is this Rotion dude is an Ultra by himself? It is kind of interesting because like right now, from everything that we see, from everything that I'm reading, it doesn't really outright says that Rution is an Ultra. Literally, he has a regular name. Is it going to be kind of like Rution is an Ultra and it's almost like Ken, aka Father of Ultra, because we count Father of Ultra as an Ultraman because he literally gave birth to Taro, which gave birth to Ultraman Taiga. I almost forgot his name. As much as Taro forgets that he has a son too. And no, Taro, it's not Ginga. But like right now it's kind of interesting. Specifically, it's like, okay, how much of a Ration we're going to see, because it very much states that Yuma created him from one of his childhood sketches of the strongest heroes. It's going to be kind of interesting going forward to see, okay, what are we going to do with him? And also, like, Yuma also created like the transformation device, which looks really interesting, very alien. Tell the truth, it looks even more alien than like the Blazer Brace. I didn't know they can fucking do that. But also, cubes. Are we in Georgia? If we're now talking about, but also it's kind of is interesting that here it's been, if you really think about it, since Taiga. So it's been more than like 6 years since we touched M78. It's weird. Like, if you want to be like very like lenient, you can say Z, but Z wasn't really born on M78. Like, his home planet is still a mystery. People are like talking about how much Blazer fucking didn't say a lot of shit. Like, we don't know who Zed's parents are. I'm still saying that like he's like Zero's son and we're just like an Ultra Galaxy away from actually finding it out. Because Zero is very much Seven's son, and totally it's a thing that Zero would do because he doesn't give a shit. But if we come back now to Arc, I really like his look. He very much reminds me of 60, like a combination of like 66, Taro, 7, and Orb. It just feels so weird because he's very much such a typical Ultraman. I don't know really how to say it, but he looks like a regular ass Ultraman, and it just feels weird now, specifically after like Blazer and like Decker and Trigger and even Zet. Like Arc looks now normal, and I don't know if I like it or not. Like, to be completely honest, I fucking love the look. As an Ultraman fan, it feels like back to basic in the best way possible, because if you really think about it, like the first time that we got a predominantly like red Ultra was like, if you really think about it, Rosso, and Rosso was a long fucking time ago. It's almost been a decade since Rube. Like, we are 4 years away since like Rube celebrates its 10th anniversary. Think about that. It's been that long. It's so weird. So having a predominantly like red and silver Ultra, specifically almost like with the same patterns as 66, looks really cool. Again, I really like how it looks. How much he weirdly looks like Orb. I don't know why. Like, I thought that, oh my god, like I made the joke of like Arc is going to be New Gen Orb, and he just looks like Orb. But I still cannot grasp that he's just using cubes. Oh yeah, I kind of forgot. He does have cyber armors. That's cool. It's another Ultraman X reference that I can heed into the video. I fucking love Ultraman X. You should watch it. Yeah, he has one that's based on the moon and one based on the sun. So it's going to be interesting how it's going to kind of work out. Are we going to get like more elemental powers, or it's going to be very much space theming? Are we going to get a Uranus? I don't mean the planet. Your butt is that big. Ma'am, Sean, I don't care. So, yeah. Now let's talk a little bit about behind the scenes. Specifically, the director of the show is Takenori Tsujimoto. He has been working on Ultraman since Ultraman X as a director. Not the main director, but he did direct a lot of episodes. Specifically, like if you want to find a specific episode that he directed, just look for episodes that has a Shiba Inu there. Yes, he's that guy. And also, like when people talk about the really cool sword shot from Ultraman Taiga, that guy also. That's the same person. So, but if you really want to watch the most recent episode of Ultraman that he directed, you can look back to Ultraman Blazer episode 17, which was really good. So I think we are in fantastic hands, to be completely honest. He did actually conduct an interview for this specific reveal. I also really like his Twitter bio. I hope I would put it up. It's kind of funny, which he did state that he wanted to do his own thing because he couldn't surpass what Blazer wanted. And him, being a man in his 50s, he really likes the Showa era, so he's like, okay, let me take beats of the Showa era and just modernize them, which I like. I am just really fond of it. And like the entire theming of the show being imagination is really cool. He did say later on that he wants that the main theme of imagination would make you care for others, envisions one dream, wish to become a hero. He hopes you can feel the wonderful power of imagination from his work. What's more, you can be immersed by the I love Ultraman Circum beam overflowing from him. With that all, he will go washa. Ah, I love this man already. He's already taking my heart. He's not close to Taguchi. Taguchi directed a lot more seasons than him, but I'm very happy. And you know what? I'm happy for this show. I'm like extremely excited. It's another Ultraman show for me to cover week to week, and it's fun. And also, I need to say it. Blizzard was very much, a new gen Gaia tribute. Come on, it was literally new gen Gaia without a lot of like the big telling us it's new gen Gaia, but it was new gen Gaia if you really think about it. Arc is just new gen Return of Ultraman. I'm stating this right now. He looks like OG Ultraman, but he's not OG Ultraman. He's battling new monsters in an already familiar world of monsters. And also, the fucking title scene is straight up a ripoff of Return of Ultraman. Like I was thinking, oh, what is it? It's not Taro. Is it Ace? No, it's not Ace. And then it's like, oh my god, it's fucking Return of Ultraman. I love this. I hope, and I truly hope this show would succeed. It's coming out, I think, if I'm correct, July 6th, pretty much a day before Ultraman Day. So yeah, like I'm like super excited for this show. I'm straight up. What you thought about Ultraman R? Comment below, let me know. Thank you very much for watching the video. Like the video if you already didn't. I hope if this is your first video, subscribe to my channel because, hey, when the first episode is going to arrive, I'm going to cover it week to week. Thank you very much and have a great rest of your day. And also, like the Gachard and Boom Boom Jar episodes are going to be delayed by a bit because I'm currently probably editing this video. Bye bye!